Hello, I'm Richard Raffan. I have here a small blank of Himalayan cedar. It's about 5 by 2.5 inches, which is I think about 120 by 70 millimeters. It's got a split, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to get out of this, because I never see any point in making a bowl full of splits, because it's always a bowl with splits. Doesn't look very nice. So we'll see what happens. When I cut this blank, I failed to cut it right on the pith. Normally I try to cut the pith out. Now that doesn't look too bad there. There are teeny little splits which I can probably cope with. But when I look at the other end, it's really quite bad. So you can't have that across the rim. That's got to come out. There's a little bit more there, and I can see I drilled a fairly deep hole here to put it on the chuck, and I can see splits in there. So I want that bit hard up against the jaws, and I'll angle the whole thing, hoping that I might be able to turn that away. Bring that tailstock up again, lost about 1/4 of an inch there, 4 or 5 millimeters. Next thing, get a foot on it. So if the whole thing comes off, at least I can grip it by that end. Now, next thing is to get the other end trued up. Using the right wing of the jaws. Still some bark left there, little split there, and the lower part of the pith doesn't look too bad, which is good. There's a little split there which is going to come out. I really need to get this down to here, unfortunately, so I've lost quite a bit there. That's another 1/4 of an inch, 6 mil. A little bit more bark to come off there. That's not too bad. So that now comes off and gets turned round into here. Oops, going the wrong way. Now this foot is not dovetailed. Make a point there. People go on and on and on about the correct angle for the foot. All you need is, at this stage, is an angle at the top of the foot, at the bottom of the curve, to true the whole thing up. So the next thing is to get rid of all the splits we don't want. And I can hear a split in there still, which I think is now gone. That's still running across there. Difficult to see, but I can see it's there. just rough this down a little bit. I can still use the 1/2 inch spindle gouge. Right, speed now is up to nearly 1800, 1700. Just come back a fraction, down to 1700. So tool's in on its side, and then rotate it slightly counterclockwise to get a better shaving. Now I'll see what little surprises the wood has in store. A split from the center coming up to here, so I'm just going to take that out. Irritating, but it's going to be a shallower bowl. And that's actually trying to split away, and that's why I reduce it. The knot was at an angle, it needs to come down a little bit more. Square and scraper just to give me a shoulder on which to reverse the chuck, reverse the bowl. So that goes in. Right. Now I make the bowl I want. So if it reverses straight onto these jaws, that would be nice. I don't unfortunately have the next chuck up yet. But I will when I downsized. I neglected to keep the next jaw up, so just means I'm going to have to do some reverse chucking. Mark this foot anyway, just in case it's... oh no, I could probably live with that. Alright, bowl with a foot that size. Well, I'm up to 1850 now. Speed. Straight in on that line to start with. So I know I can grip that foot and won't leave a mark. Because it's the right size for the chuck. So drop the rest a bit more, so I've got a kind of negative rake angle. Difference between the surface I'm cutting and the top of the tool is less than 90 degrees. Shove a little bead on this. When I'm putting a bead on, I'm leaving wood there so I can make a bead. I want the curve going through underneath the bead. That's a very sharp rim there, just soften that. I'm going to try out my new pointy tool to make the little bead. Oh, that sounds chipped. Have a look in just a second. Feels chipped. Yes, it is chipped. There's a whole lot. Ah, that's the end of another split. Ugh. Right, we'll just get rid of all that, which comes down to there. And in, just see what happens. That also just kind of pulled out. So, I'm try and get rid of that with just with the scraping. There's a hint of a whipping sound in there, but right, that's nice and clean. So not sure I really want a bead just there, but we'll see how it looks. I don't know, maybe. Pointy tool again. This is an old 1/2-inch spindle gouge which was converted a short while back. Can't quite see. Oops, I need to move my lights around. This little point allows me to come in flat on the top of the bead, and I can drop the handle and just shear scrape away. It looks okay. Coming into the bottom, I could have round over the foot with the pointy tool, but I think I'd rather do it with the 3/8 spindle gouge. So I can just rotating the tool very slightly, in that case dragging it, just make a nice little rounded foot. This is very waxy, and very waxy timbers actually helps to sand them with oils. Just be sanding with that, and it just thins down the oils enough. I can smooth the wood. Pretty good surface off the tool anyway. At 240 grits. wax on. Beeswax. A sock full of beeswax, just to melt it in and off. And a slightly less waxy sock. There's the 3/8 bowl gouge. Just soften that corner. Bowl scraper. Let's keep a bit more oil in there. Can do this with water too. The downside to sanding with oil is that you can't put a hard shiny finish on the surface, which to me is a very good thing. I don't really like hard shiny finishes. That's going to come out. Glue. Let's tear it off back to some usable stuff. Fresh bit. Almost up to production pace.